Let's talk about how to find a niche that works for you and your business. Now, I know you've heard this before. You gotta focus, you gotta niche, you gotta target a very clear and specific audience. You've heard it, but maybe you're not doing it. Most people know that this is the right thing to do, and yet they feel so scared or they don't know how to niche. I think a lot of people feel fear about finding a niche or committing to a niche because they think if I focus on this one group, I'm gonna leave everybody else out in the dust, and I need clients and I need money. So what happens when I interact with somebody who I could absolutely help, but my messaging says that I help only this group over here? I'm gonna lose the sale. First of all, it's this scarcity mindset of there are not enough people in this niche and I need to instead keep my options open, right? I need to be for everybody. I need to be able to service everybody. That way, whenever I meet someone, they're a potential client. The problem with this is, please tell me you've heard this before, if you're everything for everyone, you're actually nothing for nobody, right? Nobody is going to see you as the perfect person to solve their problem. Because of this fear, there are a lot of people out there who don't know where to focus their business. Today, I want to talk about a few mistakes that people make when trying to find the niche for their business and what you should do instead. First mistake people make is they just pick something that they think sounds like a good niche. This is the worst way to focus your business, and it's actually, I think, the most common way that people pick their targeting and their audience. They say, I think I'd really like to work with veterinarians, so I'm gonna focus my business on veterinarians. And not only do they make that decision without having worked with any veterinarians, but they make it and then they pour all of this time and energy into building a brand and a website targeted at veterinarians. Then what happens? They go trying to close some clients, they don't close those clients, and then they go, oh my God, I've made a horrible mistake. And then they go looking for the next niche that they're gonna pull out of the sky and invest more time and money into refocusing their business and yada, yada, yada. Oh my God, what a mistake. What a waste of time and money. Or they do get a veterinarian client and then realize they don't want to work with them. This happened to somebody I was working with a couple of years ago. She did not take my advice and she picked accountants and bookkeepers as her targeting because she thought they would be a perfect fit for her services. Lo and behold, she builds the whole brand. She puts a lot of time and energy into making great messaging. Then she works with, I think, 1 or 2 accountants and realizes, oh my God, this is a terrible personality match. I do not want to work with these people at all. They don't get what I do. They don't value what I do. They're not willing to pay for it. It's not fun, blah, 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 blah. So all of that time she had spent building this brand online goes out the window. Instead, I want you to pick a niche based on experience. Do not pick a niche and focus your business on any audience unless you have personally worked with at least 1, 2, 3, hopefully more clients in that space. Now, what if you've never had any clients or you've never had any clients in the niche that you're thinking about, you think might be a good idea? Does that mean that can't be your niche? No, it just means that you need to go work with them first. I don't care how you work with them. Work for them for free, work with them at a discount. You must have real world experience with this group of people before you invest your time and energy and money into building a business that pitches towards them and focuses exclusively on them. The second niching mistake I often see is that people think a niche is based on targeting for a specific industry, and that's it. But targeting an industry alone can actually be a really bad way to focus your business. Because guess what? One industry actually has all kinds of businesses and clients within that industry that can be incredibly different. And if you're a small business, one of the big reasons that we want to pick a clear focus is because we want to work with a kind of client over and over and over again so that we can build our expertise and be confident in the offers that we have. And we can't do that if we pick an industry and then work with all the different clients within that industry. So for example, I use this in another video, the idea of picking the IT industry as your clientele. Well, IT industry is a really big industry. There are companies that are just 1 IT consultant. There are companies that are 10 freelance consultants under 1 owner. There are companies that are $50 million IT companies that are national or international. And working with the 1-person consultant and the $50 million company are completely different different projects. They're completely different kinds of clients. They're completely different strategies that you should implement. There is almost nothing similar about these two clients except for the fact that they're in the IT industry. So picking just based on industry alone is going to get you in a lot of trouble. And it's also going to make you really hard to refer and really hard for you to stand confidently in your offers and tell somebody, yes, you're exactly the person that I can help. If I owned a $50 million company and you specialized in IT, but you had only worked with companies with 5 employees or fewer, I would never hire you because you don't know anything about the kind of company that I have. This is why niching just based on industry alone is not going to set you up for success. Instead, the size of the client, the kind of personality that they have, your process, that's a big one. That's a whole other video, but I like to use process as actually part of how you niche and stand out to your ideal clients. My brand for Worst of All Design, for my small creative agency, is focused not just around the kind of clients that we work with. In fact, we're industry agnostic. We work with 1 to 3 person service businesses across a wide array of industries, but the size is very specific. Our process is very specific. We only build brands in 1 to 3 day intensives. That's already going to eliminate a whole bunch of clients who absolutely want to work in a longer process, or they want to drag this out. I don't know why they would want to do that, but that's a certain kind of personality. It's not a personality that works with my process. So I repel those people. Remember, I always say, if you want to magnetically attract ideal clients, you have to be okay and even excited to repel everybody else. So process, industry, size, all of these are opportunities to niche, but it's really the intersection of a few of them that's going to make the niche perfect for you. And the last piece of advice I would give, which you don't have to have because you can manufacture this in the future, but definitely helps if you're newer in business, is that you want to have some kind of in with that space. So it's going to be a lot easier to find clients if you're already plugged into a network of people in that industry or in that space. If you don't know a single lawyer and you've never met a lawyer and you don't have any lawyers in your family, then going after lawyers is going to be harder than if you already live in the health space and you already know lots of holistic healers or whatever space, whoever you hang out with. It's just going to make it easier. This is not a prerequisite because you absolutely, pretty quickly actually, can plug into any industry through lots of different strategies. You can go to conferences, you can join Facebook groups, you can pay to be a part of networking groups that have a lot of people from that industry in it. But out of the gate, if you have an in somewhere, that might be a great niche to pick. Helping you niche and find the perfect niche for you is one of the first steps that I teach in the No BS Agency Mastery Program. It is so important to be able to stand out to your ideal clients, and you're not going to do that if you are selling generic everything to everyone. You're selling a menu of services. I can do any project that has to do with using Adobe Creative Suite, and I'll do it for anyone. Just tell me what it is. You're never going to build the profitable creative agency that you want that has freedom and flexibility. There's a very specific and strategic way to do that, and I teach all of it inside the No BS Agency Mastery Program. And if you want to see exactly what that looks like, I laid the whole thing out in a blueprint, the No BS blueprint for a profitable small agency. You can check it out yourself.